Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Guys, if you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed. Here to discuss, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
We're back, Gooch. It's just the two of us, as we were saying. It's been a while.
It's just the two of us. We haven't reviewed a game together all year.
Yeah, Jet, we were just talking about this.
Year.
That's really weird. Well, but so let's go through it again. It was Elden Ring, which I missed because I think I had a migraine. I can't remember what happened that day.
No. Oh, yes.
I think something happened.
Something
happened. I couldn't make it. And then there was Horizon, which I didn't play. I still haven't played yet.
And then there were Strangers of Paradise.
Yeah, that's it. Those are the only three. What were the games we were supposed to review by now? I think a few more at this point, right? There's between all the delays. Like, was there anything before this point that was delayed? I know Starfield wasn't until November. I'm trying to think of when
I don't know.
Not Arkham City.
Gotham, Hogwarts Legacy?
No, the other Batman one. The
Suicide Kills the Justice League.
That was this year, right? Am I going crazy?
Know, dude.
I can't remember.
I think so.
Between all the different fucking delays, it's been rough.
But before we jump into it, if you haven't seen this podcast before, well, of course, that's Chris Trio. I introduced him just a second ago. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and we are the Delco Nerd Network. If you didn't know what Delco stands for, because you know what, Trio? We don't really say this
we really
flat out all the time.
It's been a long time. Yeah, we probably didn't even say it like on our earlier podcast.
No. If you're not familiar with the Delaware County area, Delco is short for Delaware County. Delaware County is just outside the Philadelphia area where we get our namesake from.
Yeah, we like to say we're from Philly usually. That's what I mean, it's just it's simplified.
But on the grander, when you're talking to somebody from
somewhere
East
not,
Jabip,
somewhere not around here.
You just shorten it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to like intersperse that a little bit.
That's a good idea. I never really even considered it.
Because I think this would be a pretty weird episode for you to like get into our content for the first time. But
I think you do a good job of alluding to what this is when you say from the Delaware County area.
It's in the intro.
But you definitely gotta read into it a bit.
Right, right. It's quick, and I'm off to the races.
And we're here, yeah.
Speaking of off to the races, this isn't a game I played. Occasionally, we do these reviews where one person plays and the other person asks a question. This is that situation. Yep. Trio has been playing Destroy All Humans 2.
Reprobed.
Yeah, Reprobed. How are you liking the probing?
I am loving lots of probing going on. There's even a butthole door that you probe at some point, which is kind of hilarious. This game was something, if you told me, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, they're going to remake this game, I kind of would have laughed in your face, just because I feel like it's a very cult classic-y game. Not a ton of, you're not going to go up to everyone and be like, Destroy All Humans? What? And
see, I would argue, I think Destroy All Humans is like a pretty well-known PS2 generation title.
That's true.
I feel like I've never played any of these games, but I know.
That's actually fair, because my roommate walked by and was like, is this Destroy All Humans? I was like, yeah. He's like, this looks fucking awesome. Because, that is, you're right.
It was like one of those
It's one of those base points where you look back and you're like, that's just this hilarious, weird game. And you just maybe remember playing it at a friend's house or something. But
or the scene in the box art.
Exactly. And I just love how this series takes advantage of all just the 60s alien tropes just to the nth degree. Even the soundtrack is very good. There was like, woo, like I can't even describe it.
Is the soundtrack remastered too?
I think so. So that's what I meant to look up before I came into this. Like exactly what was obviously the graphics were remade. Obviously the whole engine seemed to be remade. I mean, they remade it for the first game, I should say. This is very much they are concretely making this game better. They improved upon everything from the first game. Does it feel like a total reinvention? No, it feels like a remake of that second game. And I think it's a very good example of what a remake can and should be. I mean, we've had this kind of thing with The Last of Us remake, talking about like, what is a remake?
That Discord's been pretty toxic.
It's been a lot of fun, and I'm not going to get into it there. Listen, for all intents and purposes, they both were remade in the exact same way. This was built from the ground up, but it just feels so much more remade because you have such a leap in the time. If you try and go back and play Destroy All Humans 2 or Destroy All Humans 1, the controls are weird. You're shooting with A, you're jumping with right bumper or right stick for some reason. I don't know. And this is a game that is a perfect example of something that does really need that touch up. And listen, we can talk all day and night about whether Last of Us Part 1 needed a touch up. Does that game look categorically better? Absolutely. So does this one. And I just feel like this is the way these are the games that need a remake at this point. Sure. And if you start doing things that are so close to us, it does start to get people like, why are you doing this? And
close to us like a Last
Time-wise.
of Us,
Yeah.
like an important keystone game from X year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they were like, we're gonna make I'm not trying to pick on Sony. I'm trying to think of something else, but like something that still holds up to the test of time.
We're gonna remake Halo 3.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't.
do you have like
They almost
probably
don't-
be great?
It would be
but
cool. Like, I mean, Halo 3 is definitely different from Last of Us, but it's like, do you need to do this? Nah, but it'll probably be pretty cool.
No, it would look great, and it would be fun to play that game in full HD with brand new textures.
Halo 3
and
has
graphics.
aged okay. I mean, we played it on our E3. Like, it has aged.
I would put that.
For
I mean,
sure.
I'm trying to think of when Destroy All Humans 2 came out, but yeah, no, I think that's perfectly reasonably within the time of you can categorically make that game feel and look better.
Right.
Whereas,
right.
yeah, with The Last of Us, and again, I'm just using that because it's in the recent discourse. I don't mean to pile on. It's hard to feel that leap compared to what this does. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Just going into this game is fun. The story's outlandish. I mean, you're working for the Cult of Arkvoodle. Like, you're trying to start up the Cult of Arkvoodle again, which is like
Is
the
it-
Furon god.
Is it a sequel or is it just like, okay, like
It's a direct sequel.
It's a sequel, but like it's a totally different story.
It picks up directly after the first game, and it definitely
Okay.
references it a ton.
Okay.
But do you need to play the first one? No, not necessarily. Would I suggest that you do? Yeah, because it's a lot of fun, and I think they did a really good job even on that game and remaking it and making it worthy of the remake, and even just the idea of what people had about the game. Because I mean, I remember playing Destroy All Humans, and like I did have this thought of it, and I got it for like $4, the original version, before the remake came out of the first one, and I just downloaded it just to play, just to see like really how much it doesn't hold up, and it was absolutely tough. But this one really improves upon like everything in the first game to a T. Like I said, I don't think they're reinventing the wheel. I think that's fine. What I would like to see them do with this next one is not. I think there's 2 more Destroy All Humans games. I'm trying to remember the developer who did this, but they have
gotcha.
2 more after this. It's like Path of the Furon, and then another like kind of offshoot one. I don't think they should remake those. I think they should just go. They got the
Pandemic Studios. Obviously, I knew THQ was
Yeah.
their developer, but Pandemic Studios.
Pandemic. Yeah, I mean, these guys have done an amazing job with taking something old and rejuvenating it. Now, I do think a lot of the missions and such, you feel their age. I mean, they are remakes of missions from 2000 and whatever, I think 2005, 2006. So, you can feel it. Like, there's a lot of protecting missions. There's a lot of just go get this thing mission.
Kill X amount of
Things mission, for sure. And even just the way you set up the missions, you go, you have the cutscene, you do the mission, you get out of the cutscene. All the locations are really fun to go to. I mean, you got like San Francisco, Russia, like Soviet Russia, Japan, the moon, and Britain, Great Britain. And, there's a lot of just fun kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Stereotypical, satirical things. Like you get a costume that's totally supposed to be Austin Powers at one point. That was one thing that was really cool in this, the skins. They added a ton of new skins, and you
Cool.
get certain ones for after, like, you do certain missions. The mechanics with, like, getting upgrades are a little bit changed. You kind of have to do all of the optional objectives within a mission, and then that gets you all of the possible Furon cores, which you then use to upgrade your guns, your ship, and all that good stuff. And the ship, I will say, is probably my least favorite part. Or at least they've done the least amount of work on it, I feel like, from the first to the second remake. It just feels a bit stilted, but I mean, to go through and just to be able to destroy the entire environment and just to really kind of fuck around with it, it's fun. But I would have liked to see more weapons within it.
Going back to that stereotypical point you make, I remember you were telling me something about like, wow, they kept this cutscene or this moment like totally intact. Obviously, like, we're talking about early 2000s humor, definitely different from what it is today.
100%.
And I like, however you feel about that is irrelevant. The fact that I think there is an importance in kind of keeping things that were made in the time the way they are. Like, it's like, okay, imagine if they
Not being afraid to keep them the way they are.
right,
Even, yeah.
even if it's offensive or it's a little, it's
Behind the times, as today might put it. Yeah.
right. I'm like, the game was made that way, unless it's like really obligatorily offensive.
Sure.
I can understand, but if it's just kind of like goofy, which
No, there's
I would
definitely
assume
some goofy.
it all is.
I mean, when you get to Britain, there's stereotypical dumb, like Britain, like, I don't even know how to do like that, like just that, I gotta get my teeth cleaned, like things like stupid stereotypical jokes like that. And then you go to Japan, where there are Japanese people who are clearly not voiced by Japanese people. And, and you know, again, I commend them.
There's some charm in it. I don't
No,
know.
there is. I commend them for sticking to it. And I
Sure.
think there were some raunchier jokes and stuff that they took out, like one or two. But for the most part, it definitely feels.
What's it rated?
Like, it's T, I think.
Okay.
I actually, yeah, because there's no blood or anything. And I mean, there's not like, it's like sexual innuendos and things.
Yeah, that's what I
but
thought.
I don't think it's necessarily crossing that line. It might be M now that I'm thinking. I mean, you do probe people's ass, so I don't know. The guns were a lot of fun, I will say. They brought, you know, you got the disintegrator ray, which is fun. That classic kind of Mars Attacks, like they shoot and then their body disintegrates and the fucking skeleton disintegrates.
Yeah.
You got the Zap-O-Matic, which is just a big like lightning gun. You got a meteor gun, which calls in a fucking meteor strike. I can't remember what the other one's called. You shoot like this mist at people, and like this monster comes up and fucking snatches them.
Kind of reminds me of Ratchet and Clank, just the way you're describing it.
No,
Like,
definitely
a lot of their guns
interesting
are pretty
guns.
wacky,
very
and
wacky.
pretty
There's
out there.
I'm trying to think of the other one, what it's called, but like you shoot a disc and you charge it up and it hits the person, and then they like, it's called a ricochet, I think, and they start to hit other people around them and they bounce all over. Again, very cool and interesting things. I'm trying to remember how much of that was in the original.
That's what I was
which
going to ask.
I believe
there
that
any,
most of it is.
Any change up in gameplay at all? Or
I mean, obviously how it plays. Like, you know, everything's kind of mapped to where it
controls.
feels like naturally it would be
Right.
like nowadays.
Back in the day, I think every game had its own controls for no sense at all.
It's so true.
And we're much, especially for like shooters and like action games, we're much more conformed
Dude,
to like a style. Like
it's
you're
so
never
insane.
Like even like Kingdom Hearts 1, for example, like circles jump.
So I mean,
It's a little strange.
just odd.
Yeah. I mean, and like the way, like everything, the way everything's mapped is kind of weird.
It's. I mean, I still even remember. I'll go back and play Chaos Theory every once in a while, Splinter Cell, and like that.
shoot is R1.
Shoot is R1.
That was the thing.
Like
shoot was R1.
It's like I can't even like to throw your grenade is the left stick, like something stupid and insane
Like
like
press
that.
in.
Yeah, press in, and then like it's talking about the white and I forgot those existed. The white and black buttons on the Xbox.
Oh my God!
Remember
yeah.
those? Those were replaced with the bumpers, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I know in like Halo Combat Evolved, like very famously, like it was the flashlight button.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. They're like the vestigial bones of the controller that were
it's so
eventually
true.
evolved out.
To what? Yeah, it
Because
literally.
we
Yeah,
didn't
it's so
need them.
true. They shifted. No, it's very interesting to see how like that type of stuff, especially, has evolved throughout the past 20 years. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, every shooter is the same
I
control
mean,
now. At this
it's
point.
funny. I'm playing Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, which is a PS2 game, and it has some. Have you played that game?
No,
So
so
there's-
well, like way back.
There's
when
a
I was
character
younger.
named Carmelita Fox,
Yeah.
and at the end of every level, like so you beat the bad guy of the level, and she arrests them.
Mm-hmm.
And every newspaper headline, like jumping back to like the just the age things, it says like hot cop, like bus X, and it's always talking about her looks. I
Yeah.
mean, and I'm just like, whatever.
No, it's, well,
But I'm
again,
like-
that shows
like
the time.
they would not do that today.
Not a million years.
Yeah, and games have just aged and they play so differently. Like, it's interesting to see devs, and I don't know if there's any experimentation with like gameplay mechanics. It's like, this is so strange. Like, why did they do this? This doesn't really fit at all. Because Sly has some mechanics like that. It's like they
You're like,
almost
what
like
is
did
going
this like
on? Yeah.
the very like we need something. Yeah, just throw it in
Yeah.
there. Like, I don't destroy all humans have anything like that.
Nothing too crazy. I mean, you have like certain it brought in new and more exciting guns. I felt like when it felt natural and they felt very rewarding to get. That is one thing I will say. The upgrade system in this felt particularly rewarding.
Is it like a typical, like, do you buy them? Or?
So you get these Furon cores from each mission that you
Yeah,
get,
you were
and then
just
there's
mentioning
also
that.
like I think around each open world map there's like 20 on the map or something like that you can collect. Yeah, there's like a few kind of collectible items. I'm sorry, I just totally lost the question. What were we just about to?
Was there any like gameplay mechanics that you felt like were there but like didn't really serve a purpose?
Oh no,
or
not
anything
really.
like
There
that?
was the one gravity gun on the ship. I felt like was kind of useless. Like I'd use it every once in a while, but again, that kind of goes back to my whole. The ship is the weakest link I think of this whole game, sadly.
Sure.
But yeah, like you just you'd shoot the ground, it would lift things up and then drop them, and that was nice for missions and things like that. And when you really have to kind of protect things, again, protection missions. There's a lot of them in this game, and it makes
they're
it
usually
remind
pretty
me-
bad.
They're pretty tough, and there is kind of like a really weird difficulty spike in this game. Once you get to like the moon level, you're just getting over fucking whelmed, and you're dealing with these new enemy types called the Blisk, which are part of the story. And if you don't upgrade your stuff to kind of counteract their shit, they fuck you up, especially at the beginning.
Old games are hard.
No, they are.
You know,
they are.
even that gen, you know, the games were just difficult. I mean, I don't even think it like as I'm going back playing stuff, and I'm like, sometimes it is your age, and you just are a little bit
1,000%
young to fully embrace mechanics.
When
but
I was young, I couldn't beat the end fight in Assassin's Creed 1. I don't know how I was like when I was
fight
when you're like
fighting.
No, I'm sorry. When you're fighting all the Templars and like this, like when they have you're onto the battlefield and you're with. I literally just kept getting killed because I didn't.
Isn't it like infinite?
Well, I didn't understand how to like counter. So like
at the end of the game,
dude, I was really again. That's like one of those things going back where I'm like,
oh,
how did I
you're
not
younger
know
than
that?
me.
No, it's true, and I can't even remember like how old I was when I played that game. But no, I remember literally just stopping playing games because I couldn't beat them when I was a certain age.
That's funny.
It's insane.
That's funny.
But no, and again, I just think it's like kind of a out of nowhere spike in the difficulty, which is more kind of interesting. It's not as gradual. But I will say the game chugs a bit at certain points.
So you played it on Xbox
Series X.
Does it have what are the perks from the
well, so it's only on next gen, which I didn't realize, which is
interesting move.
It's so
for especially for like a remaster.
Well, that's what I mean.
I mean, if it was like a new game,
and for a game that doesn't like necessarily get these particular, I hate comparing it to Fortnite, but it kind of are those like cartoony graphics that will. I think this game will look good forever. And just because of like it's not trying to go for a humanist, like a more realistic I was about to say humanistic look, but no, it's
not
just,
many games did back then.
No, for sure, and I think that was just a product of their time. Like they couldn't do it, so they weren't going to try.
Right.
But and I just think it works super well for this game. I don't know if they re-recorded dialogue and things for that, or they use the original. The dialogue still sounds very crisp and new, so I'd be curious to. It's definitely the same voice actors, and the Invader Zim plays Pox, who is like your
him.
your main guy.
I forget his name. He's in a lot of stuff too.
But but the chugging just every once in a while when there was a lot of explosions going on screen.
So does it run at 60?
Yes.
Okay.
And for the most part, I was not having any issues. But every once in a while, I get like a clip of the frame, and it would just slow down and chug a bit. I remember one time I got back on after it was in quick resume, and it just straight up crashed. But that was the only time.
Quick resume is a little buggy.
It can be weird sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it runs very well and everything works very well. You know, the lip sync isn't amazing, but I think for a game like this, I'm not in it to be like that. I'm not sitting here for the story. And even some of the story, I did find myself kind of clicking through. The whole idea is like your crypto, the mothership gets attacked by Russia and destroyed. And you're just going on this kind of quest to get back at them. And you find out that, should I spoil it?
Up to you, man.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll spoil it. Spoilers. I don't think it's a remake. You could have already played by now. You find out that these ancient like enemies of the Furon, the Blisk, have crash landed on Earth like a while back, and they basically have taken over the entire Soviet Union. But yeah, they're just weird crab-looking people.
Okay.
But overall, I think the story is, it's fun. And like I said, I appreciate that they lean fully into the weird shit that they were doing back in the day. And I mean, there's a character named Coyote Bongwater.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Like, what?
And even
for like innuendos, like
galore. Yeah. And one of my favorite little
of the times for sure.
Absolute. And again, I think now back then they weren't. I don't want to say afraid, but they didn't care if they were going to be a little bit
right.
Raunchy.
I really think it was they didn't care.
Yeah, I think so too. One little detail I love. So he has and I sent this to Discord. All these different outfits you can use. One is just crypto as a hippie, and I appreciate that on every different outfit. Their jetpacks change too, and his jetpacks is a glass bong. It's 2 glass bongs. They're just firing out. So good. And something I didn't even notice until I was like, wait, is that? And then I put it in a photo mode, and then I'm like, oh my god, it is. They're 2 little bongs. Photo mode's really good in this too. I gotta say, it's a lot of fun, and I mean, you can take some fun things.
Seems unnecessary, but
no, absolutely. I think
photo mode is like a trend still.
It is funny. I think that is a mainstay now of most games.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if most like mainstream games don't allow that, even considering how
the God of War added a photo mode, right?
Yeah.
So
later.
I was gonna say, Ragnarok will probably have
for
a
sure.
photo mode.
Cyberpunk's is really good now too. I was messing around with it the other day when I was on, which we'll talk about that soon enough. But yeah, man, Destroy All Humans 2. it's a fantastic remake, and I think it's exactly what you want. You don't need to remake the wheel with certain games like this. Give us the game as it was, and you can sell a lot of copies. And by the way, I think this was only $40.
You beat me to it.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, what's the price point? Because I feel like with remasters, sometimes $60 for a game like this is
it's
probably a bit too much.
I agree.
I think $40 for a remaster of a game like this is fair.
I think so too, and I think there was another edition that was $60 that came with a bunch of extra skins and like cosmetics and things that you could buy if you wanted to. But and I was thinking about it, but I was like, $15 for skins. I don't really need them right now, and. Yeah, it didn't take away from my experience at all. There are saucer skins too, which are a lot of fun. There's like a big there's like a hippie one, and there's like a Russian themed one. It's got like a big bear on the back, and it's like all the Russian colors in gold.
No hammers and sickles.
No hammers and sickles. It was weird.
It's it's kind of like the swastika,
they definitely.
I don't think they emblazon. Those kinds of sigils all over the place.
For sure.
If they can help it, unless it's like a war game.
I'd be curious to go back. I'm going to look at it when I get home.
Even Wolfenstein, other versions of Wolfenstein do not have
in Germany,
the Nazi.
You can't put Nazi symbols anywhere, right? Like, that's like so... Yeah, no, you're right. They don't have any... I know, dude, certain countries have such weird censorship
I kind of
laws.
get it for the Germans.
No, I kind of do too. Dude,
they're just like, we're not
Wait,
we're
why,
not
Gooch? What do you mean? No.
We're not doing this.
But then there's like the weird stuff, like I know in Japan, I know in China, like they don't like time travel. Like that's a big censorship issue.
Yeah.
But, and ghosts, I think. But phantoms are fine.
Yeah, WoW, like there are in China's version, there are no skeletons.
Just funny.
Like so, like I think like if you're an undead character, you have to be like fully like skinned.
Yeah,
there can't be any skeletons.
That's hilarious.
So weird.
Such just weird little censorship things. But yeah, Gooch, if you're someone who even slightly is interested in this game, it's been out for a while. I know we're behind here. I think pick it up, especially if you can get it on sale. Like it's just a fun fuck around time. If you don't want something too serious to just pass your time.
Yeah, and I know we're about to roll into, Q4 and our games are going to come out, but, backlog for sure.
This was a nice little palate cleanser or not even, but like a starter course, I guess, for what's to come.
Right.
But other than that, yeah.
When did this game come out?
Like a month or two ago, I want to say, at least.
Okay.
I think end of August.
Yeah, that's a perfect time for a game like this.
Yeah, no,
like,
that was really
beginning
good.
of the season, like I think like 12 minutes came out this time last year, and that was like perfect slotting.
More summer games, man. More summer games. The
Witcher 3 came out at summer, and I think only benefited from the fact that it came out at the beginning of the summer, where people are off school or off work or whatever.
I do think companies are much more willing to do that now too, because I feel like back in the day, I don't know. I feel like I hear podcasts hosts talk about this all the time, like Damon on GameScoop. They just did not want to put it out during the summer because it's the holiday season. Everyone's buying games for everyone. That's
right.
That's the big
nobody's
market.
Buying in the summer.
Yeah, no one's thinking.
Where now, it doesn't fucking matter.
No, people know we're gonna buy your game whenever the fuck it comes out. Yeah, especially with like older kids like us that we have the expendable income.
Older kids.
Jesus Christ, Jesus, yeah.
You hear that?
We're young. We're young adults. Still, I'm only gonna be 27 this year. Shut up. Yeah, I think companies are smartly realizing. You can release your game anytime you want, as long as it looks good. People are gonna fucking buy that shit. But you definitely probably do get those holiday bumps that I cannot dispute.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, that's Destroy All Humans, Gooch. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Delco Nerd Network hot take. I'm starting this out differently from my outros, and it's feeling really weird.
You're about to do the rewinder.
No, yeah, I was. You guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast live.
I don't even
You've been with us. No, I don't know. I don't even think I was going into that. I think I started it differently from how I normally do, and it just
right.
Pew!
I get it.
Thank you guys so much if you've been watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We very much appreciate you. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We're on all your favorite social medias as well. Search Delco Nerds on everything. We got a Facebook page. We got a Discord channel. We have an email where you can email us your comments, questions, or concerns. That's delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. If you can leave us a review on your favorite podcast service of choice, that always helps. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. It really goes a long way. You can find all this info at our website, DelcoNerdNetwork.com. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.
Bye.